This video is going to be showing you how to do a concealed eyebrow and how to do it pretty quickly and efficiently. I just learned this technique yesterday and I was like, I gotta share it. It works. Oh my gosh, the world needs to know. Although the brow arch isn't really good, focus on the covering of the eyebrow and you can do whatever you want to your eyebrow. So please ignore the pretty bad drawn on brow. And the purple, I just wanted to kind of give it some color. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Hi. For this video, we're going to need some craft glue stick, makeup wedge, fair translucent powder, spirit gum, your foundation, some white, I'm using Ben Nye Clown White, spirit gum remover for when we're done, and your spatula. The first thing you want to do is make sure your eyebrows are clean and clear. So take some alcohol and just rub it against the eyebrow or a little alcohol white pad, press it on the eyebrow, make sure it's all clear. It might burn a little bit if you've recently tweezed or anything like that, but it shouldn't last long, and this will set you up to have a good sticking brow covering. Now that you've done your alcohol on your brows, you're going to take your glue stick. This one's purple because when it's wet, it's purple, and when it's clear, well, when it's dry, it will dry clear. So this is a good one that drag queens like to use because you can tell when it's ready. And sometimes it takes a long time, so you kind of have to feel to make sure. So what you're going to do is you're going to go against the grain, take the glue stick, and go pretty hard. Like you want a firm layer, like nothing like gloppy or anything like that, but a firm layer to go from against the grain and push all the hairs back. And when you do this, it's going to look really kind of awkward. I'll show you. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't even look pretty at all. And I'm actually going to leave a little bit of my brow out so I know where to start my eyebrow when I'm drawing it in. Then you're going to take the glue stick and go up what you just covered back. Make sure you get all the hairs to go up. Again, it looks really weird because it's purple, but that's because it's not dry. It's okay to keep going up to make sure all the hairs are covered up because you want them to be up. And be careful not to emote too much during this process because like me, I close my eyes a lot and I squint and I scrunch, so try not to. I'm doing it right now and it's hard, but try not to. Now depending on your eyebrow, like mine, it almost looks like stitches right there. That's because the hair was pushed against the grain and then up. So if it has that stitch effect, you're doing it right. We're going to let this dry a few minutes and then we'll go on to powder.
Drop it low, girl. Drop it low, girl. Drop it low.
If you notice a hair that isn't quite staying down, feel free to go over it again with the glue stick until it sticks down, because we're going to do something else to it that's really going to hold it down later. Okay, so as you can see, it is pretty clear all across. Maybe a little bit purple right there, but whatever. We're going to go for the next step. Now this is when I would originally, think to use a makeup powder puff, but the way I was taught is take a makeup cosmetic wedge and put the powder, translucent powder, on the wedge, and you're gonna really, really press it in. I mean, it's gonna almost hurt because it's like right near your temple, so be careful, don't poke your eye out. But definitely press in. If it doesn't hurt, press harder. But if it hurts really, really bad, press a little less. Okay, so if it looks like some crack on your makeup wedge, you're doing it right. You're going to take this and directly press all over the glue you just did. Now remember, this hair I didn't really do anything to, so I don't need to worry about that. As you can see, it's not pretty yet, and it's never pretty until the end. But you're basically taking the powder, really, really pressing it in. We're going to call this, like other drag queens say, letting it cook. Because you want to make sure it gets in all the hairs and everything, and I usually just do it once on the powder sponge, like just right on the back. Okay. Now already it might look a little bit like it's like, oh, it's pretty concealed. No, it's not. If you can conceal your eyebrows with just powder and glue, you are an amazing, amazing creature. And just go down the line, make sure you get the tail. Okay. Now you want to brush off the excess because you don't need it. So you're just gonna take that excess, be like bye-bye. Okay, so see, it's a very faint covering, and that's what it's supposed to be. Close, you can still see that stitching look, see? So you would never want someone to be like, oh, what happened to his eyebrow? If you have any like glue it's not really near your eyebrow at all, you can peel that excess off because that can actually make it more lumpy if you don't get rid of it. So if it's not bothering you and it doesn't look very lumpy, don't worry about it, but if you want to try and clean it up a little bit, it's a good idea. So I'm going to look and see if I need to clean up anything. And for this, you can use anything like your nail if you have one on your finger. I don't really have them. Tweezers, part of the spatula, not the sharp part. Oh my gosh. Just something to kind of get rid of the excess. You don't want to peel, like push really, really hard because you don't want to hurt yourself, and you also don't want to get any of the glue that you do want. So I didn't really have too much. I just got a little part right there that I wanted to get off. Now, you want to make sure you fill your brow. If it feels tacky, you need to put some more powder. It should feel like there shouldn't be anything that sticks to your finger. You should just be able to touch it, and bloop, 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 bloop. See? You're good. Nothing on the finger. Next step. This is the part where cleans are always like, wait, can't your eyebrow hairs fall out? I've never had this issue, but also the good thing is since you did a layer of glue right there and powder covered it, putting the spirit gum where you just did that, making sure every hair is covered, it's not really direct contact with the hair. So when I removed it last night, it wasn't bad. It's best to get the spirit gum that has a little brush in it. Most of them do, but not all. And you're gonna take your little brush, and every hair that you just covered, you're gonna go over. It looks like it's bleeding almost, doesn't it? But it's not, I promise. Just keep going up and over every hair. It doesn't take a lot. Just a thin layer. Be very careful with this because if it gets near your eye, it's gonna burn, and you really don't want it in your eye. Now, spirit gum ultimately, it works just like lash glue does. It gets dry as it gets tacky. So we're going to let this dry. Some people think you should tap it. Just leave it alone. Just let it dry on its own. And as you feel, if it's still a little bit tacky, just let it dry a little bit more. Like I said, your eyebrow is not going to look anywhere glamorous until the end. It's kind of like when you do your makeup. Till you have the lashes and the wig on, you don't look like a woman. So once it's primarily pretty dry, you're going to do the same thing. Take some more powder on your makeup wedge, and you're going to press that in really, really hard again. Do not wipe or smear. You do not want to wipe or smear because this can take off the spirit gum. Just press in. Do not wipe. Do not rub. Just press. Brush away excess. This is probably the longest amount of time to wait. You're going to wait about 5 to 10 minutes for this to fully dry, and then we will move on to the next step. Now that you're finished your music jam session or checking your grinder, whatever you're doing, you're going to move on to the next step, which is you're going to take on your spatula. Now, I've tried this with a plastic thing. It sucked. Legit sucked. So maybe it was because I was doing it wrong before, but I use a metal spatula. You can get them from like $10 off eBay, and it comes with a metal palette. So think about that. You initially take a little bit of glob off the top of the glue stick. It doesn't have to be a crazy amount, but you can always add more. Just like something like that, and you're actually going to, gently, not roughly, but smear it across the brow you just covered. And again, if you left part of your brow out, don't cover it with glue because then it just won't make any sense at all. So take the glue and smear it across. So see, obviously this is not enough, but as you can see, as I smear, it kind of starts to go over the hairs. Now this doesn't have to be a giant globby coat. That's so if it looks like it's smearing out, that's fine. You want to cover everything you just did. And try not to push back up if you can. Let's get some more glue. So see, it's starting to cover more. And if you're not getting all the brow hairs, you need to get them. So start wherever you need to and just keep going. Again, you want this nice and smooth because if this is chunky, your skin's going to look lumpy. And your hairs shouldn't be poking up, and as you can see, they're still flat, so if they're poking up, you didn't do something right. Now again, be careful, because see, I got a little bit of a patch open now because I pressed too hard. Now the hair's not sticking up, so I should be okay, but just be careful. Now you're going to let this dry for like 1 to 2 minutes again, tap it to make sure it's dry, and then we're going to powder set it again. Tap it, if it feels dry, we're going to powder. As you notice, it's like glue, powder, so it's an ongoing process. We're going to let it sit for about a minute, and then we're going to go into the foundation part. Tap if it feels dry, then you're ready to go to foundation. Of course, it's not going to look entirely accurate because none of my other face is foundation covered, so I'm really just going to do this part right here. And the good thing about a Krylon TV paint stick is it kind of just rolls on. You don't need a lot of pressure, just go against it, and then we're going to tap with our finger to get any little creases that didn't get filled. take your powder again. Last time, press really, really, really hard. Well, until you finish your entire makeup and you go over all over your face, but whatever. But for just the brows, you're gonna take a powder again, press it in really, really hard. Don't smear, don't wipe, just tap, press, and then we can do the brow bone and draw on the actual brow. Now you're gonna brush away the excess. I don't have any other foundation on, so it's not gonna blend, so you can definitely tell where it starts and stops. But when you have your full makeup on, you won't be able to really tell where it kind of starts and stops. So the next part, what I like to do is you're going to draw on your brow, and this is not the easiest thing in the world to do, so mine probably won't look the best, but this little part we left is going to help us as a guide because we're just going to go and follow it and do whatever shape you want to make it angry. You just go up and out. You want to follow the curve, but this is going to help you give a nice arch. And an arch of an eyebrow should kind of start like right here. So like where the outside of your, I think it's the iris is, that's where the arch starts. And the tail should end at the outer corner, and in the inner corner, like right here is where it should start. So use that as a guide. You can use an eyebrow stencil. I've never done it before. I probably might need to try it. But freehanding, just be careful. It's good to use an angled eyeliner or an angled brush because it kind of helps follow the shape. So if you want to do up and out or you just want to follow the curve, that little piece of hair we left out is going to be really good for that. So you're just going to take your eyeshadow, your pencil, whatever you're doing, and you're going to go over that. It's good to do colors that are matte, not like have any shine to them, because lights will reflect those and it can wash your face out. So when you're doing things like this, like contour and things like that, you want to try and use colors that are more matte. Save the sparkles and everything else for like glitter or anything like that. So I will not be able to do this while I'm looking in the camera, so I'm going to look in my mirror and then I'll kind of show you as I do it. So as you can see, the first part I just kind of colored, the little part I just left out in the brownish color so it's not such a dark color, because when you're doing, like I like to wear a blonde wig a lot, a black eyebrow is not going to really make much sense, so you want to kind of tone it down. Like I said, I'm not the best at drawing freehand eyebrows, but this is just to kind of show you how you can do it. So it's not the prettiest eyebrow in the world, but you can get an idea of how it works, because I used my real eyebrow hair, and then it just made it a little bit higher. Next part is making the brow bone. I like to use the pinup because it's very thick and it applies very easily. So where you just covered your actual brow, that's now going to be your brow bone. So you're basically kind of adding height to your face because females have higher brows. And drag queens, we really overdo it. So right where this color is, where you just did your brow, not the actual brow you just drew on, but just the brow itself where the foundation is, go over in white to make a brow bone. So let's do that. And it's best to use, I just like to use my finger because it's easier. And it is very thick and it's not going to do, you know, it's not going to come off crazy easily, but you're just going to kind of tap and go along, and I'll show you this, but I'm going to do it in the mirror. If you want to make it easier, you can actually do this before you powder set it, because it's kind of harder to get it to apply, so you have to press a little bit harder, but it still can happen, so just figure out what works for you. What you have to remember, though, is far away is the goal to create the illusion. Up close, it is going to look a bit more ridiculous, so you can tone it down by taking some foundation powder and kind of going over that. Or if you're going to do like a half and half, you can probably put, you know, some color on the white to kind of get rid of part of it. So figure out what works best for you. I'll try toning it down with some powder. And there you go. Now you have a covered eyebrow and you're good to perform or whatever you're doing. And this can work really good for costumes, for Halloween, for drag, any reason you want to cover your eyebrow and you don't have to shave them. So let me know if this video helped. I know it's really long, but I wanted to give you a detailed video. So thanks so much for watching and feel free to leave comments. Thanks, guys.